Salams and welcome to brain lesson number 70. Many of you have asked me to do some series on stress, and the next few programs will just be on stress. What are the symptoms of stress and how to cope with it? Now, we've just been through the COVID pandemic, 2019 COVID pandemic, and that has triggered stress all over the world. Many people have developed mental health problems or problems with stress, especially many people lost their jobs. Many people started working from home, and these major adjustments have caused increased stress in human beings. And researchers all over the world are studying the impact of chronic COVID and the symptoms related to that. So in today's lesson, I'll just go through some of the symptoms. So if you or someone in your family have got some of these signs or symptoms, then please note that you're undergoing stress. But remember that stress is part of everyday life. It doesn't mean we just run to the doctor for a small amount of stress. But when stress becomes chronic, or it becomes persistent, or it becomes serious, then you need to get professional help, either through medical doctors, or if you have, like for example, going through grief counseling or psychiatric help or psychological help, or marriage trauma, divorce counseling help. So there's different types of stress, but I'll just give you some general broad guidelines as to what symptoms to look for. Some people start getting mood swings. I'm not talking about the mood swings when you get, some patients will get mood swings around the time of menstrual cycle, around the time of the periods, or during later in life, during menopause. Some women may get hot flushes and mood swings. This is unusual mood swings. So this is mood swings that happen in men and women, which normally a person would normally be calm, and all of a sudden this person is short-tempered. And I say, this is very unusual for this person. So that's a sign of symptom of stress. Some patients go through insomnia. They find it difficult to sleep at night. Why? Because the mind is working all the time. Some people have chronic fatigue because when you're stressed out, you no longer have the stress you no longer have the energy to fight the problems that you're going through. It's like you're carrying the whole world on your shoulders, the burden of the whole world on your shoulders, and that can become difficult. Some patients have weight changes. Some patients increase the weight. Some people, they lose the weight. In the ones who increase the weight are those, as I explained, is the endomorphs, are the ones that eat a little bit and start increasing weight, or you may be going into the habit of eating junk food to cope with stress, maybe eating a lot of chocolates and fast food, and eating in front of the TV without moving around much. So this can produce weight gain. In other patients, you have weight loss. You suddenly have weight loss, and your family and friends look at you and they say, "What? You have this gaunt face. You have a lot of lines on the head, a lot of lines on the face here. You no longer smile anymore." And they say, "What's good? This guy is looking run down. He's looking finished, man. He's got like the burden of the world on his shoulders." Other people have digestion problems, which is IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. You tend to run to the toilet more. You have diarrhea. For example, like some people want to give a speech in a public place and they start getting diarrhea because it's very stressful. They're running to the toilet all the time. So if you're under stress, you find that your digestion is affected. You no longer can tolerate certain types of food. Some people start getting headaches here, occipital headaches here, visual headaches. You find your headaches start from your eyes. You can't handle glare anymore. You need to wear sunglasses. The temporal headaches here can be quite bad. Sometimes you have cluster headaches. Sometimes you have global headaches right around your head, like someone has put a right tight band around your head. And the migraines, you can't tolerate the noise and the sound. You need to sit in a dark room. So these are all symptoms and signs of severe stress. Some people get panic attacks. They start panicking. What is going on? They have this fear. They panic. Suddenly, the mind goes out of control, and the body tenses up. They become very stiff. They're no longer friendly and jovial and funny like how they used to be. And then some people have new OCD behavior, obsessive compulsive behavior. For example, the pens may be all over the place, but now they want to put everything straight. Cutlery must be straight. Furniture must be straight. The car must be straight. Everything must be straight. You check the door. No, let me check it again. I check the alarm. No, let me check it again. So you start developing new symptoms of OCD, and that can start affecting you. Can start affecting your relationships as well. So stress. We're now going through a stress epidemic. We've gone through a COVID epidemic or a pandemic. Now we're going through a stress epidemic. So what happens if you don't control stress in your life? The most common thing is you have burnout. You can no longer perform at high levels at your work. This can happen also to CEOs. You could be the leader of a company. You can be the CEO, the managing director, and especially leaders. Please take time to control your stress, because you are at a such high level. The higher you are in a company, the more the stress levels, the more responsibilities you got. But burnout can happen to anyone. You can be looking after a chronic patient. You can be looking after someone who's handicapped or who has a disability. You can be looking after an elderly patient or an elderly person in the house, or a sick child at home who's got chronic illness. And you find that the caregiver gets total burnout. And like in my case also, many times people will ask me, how am I feeling? And I would immediately remind them, please find out how my family is feeling. Because the people who are looking after me, they are the caregivers. Find out how are they feeling. Because no one asks them the question. People just say, okay, the person is sick, let's find out how you are feeling. But I say, have you asked my family how they are feeling? So please always remember that when you're asking about the person who's not well, who's got a chronic illness, always ask about those family around them. How are they feeling? Because they are the ones going through a lot of stress as well. Their life has come to a standstill and they don't know how to cope. How many more years must we continue with this type of looking after this person? So stress affects everyone in different ways. So that can lead to burnout. The second thing is stress. If you don't control it, it can lead to high blood pressure and heart disease. High blood pressure, think of it as a hose pipe. When you take the nozzle of the hose pipe out in front, say this is a hose pipe, and you take the nozzle out, the water comes out very slowly. It just pours out, it comes out very slowly. But when you put a sprinkler system, or you put the nozzle in front and you can adjust it, that now water shoots out very fast and very hard. The water comes out very hard. That's what happens with blood pressure. When you have high blood pressure, the blood in your arteries are going at such a fast and hard pace, they're causing internal damage to the arterial walls. These internal damage can cause damage to the small arteries in the brain, arteries in the heart, and can cause various types of problems, can lead to arterial disease and can lead to cardiac problems. It can reduce stress that's not controlled in a chronic way, can reduce your physical health. You find you're no longer well anymore. You're tending to get sick very quickly. You get flus and colds. Someone just coughs and you get sick, because your immunity is low. Your immunity is low. With chronic stress, you have a very low immunity. You'll go into a hospital just to go visit a patient. You come back sick and you're coming back coughing. You go to a function, to a wedding, you just eat a little bit food that's off. You come back sick with diarrhea because your stress is very high. But meanwhile, we keep quiet. We don't tell people we have got stress. We just pretend we are okay. We just smile. But meanwhile, we are not happy. Our head is working all the time. We're worrying about this debts to pay, that person to pay, this one to pay, this worry, that worry. Problem with school fees, about petrol prices. All this, our mind is working all the time. And when all of that happens, what happens? It affects our relationship with those closest to us. It affects the relationship between husband and wife, affects the relationship between parents and children, with the grandchildren, it affects the relationship with the neighbors. In fact, it affects the relationship with yourself as well. So please look after yourself and stay well.